So this is everything it comes with. 4 outside poles, your tub. This is gasketing right here, rubber gasketing, just make sure it doesn't leak. Some wire, your extension poles, your support bar, your cushioning covers there, and then all your hardware is nicely placed in this box. And yeah, so we're gonna get to the instructions right about now. So here we go, Dukers. Here we go. So we're going over the instructions on what you need. It says you want a drill bit, a power drill with a 2-inch bit. I remember what that's for. And then it says 3/8 and 7/16 sockets. So I have 2 right here. And a crescent wrench just so if you need to hold anything. A 2 and a 3. I have a 2 right here. I don't have a 3, so I'm just going to use my other drill. And then I have my 2 bit right there. And I do have a blade and just scissors because I remember there's a lot of bags you got to open up, and just it's easier if you have a scissors in a. So we're going to get going. Here we go. Alright, so you're going to take this big black bar right here and you're going to undo it. You're going to go over to the thing and you're just going to grab this little black piece, and that goes in both ends right here. 1, 2, and just make sure the holes line up obviously. And then that's going to be your middle support bar that goes down the whole middle. It's going to go right here roughly. And what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to set up these angle brackets. So you have a couple different ways of doing this. And they tell you to use washers and everything every time, which makes sense, you know. So it's saying lock nuts on the outside, which is fine with me. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take this brass screw, put it on the other side, put the washer on it with the black piece. There's 2 holes right here. I'm taking this black angle bracket facing up against the wall, threading the first machine grade screw. 1, and then 2. Oh. 1 and 2, creating some pressure, grabbing these washers on the back side, putting the washer on, taking the threaded nut right here. It's got a nylon lock nut, and we're just going to hand tighten it because it won't let you tighten. Just make sure you thread it on right. What I'm going to do is set that in there, push that all the way through, and nut. So this is the corner bracket right here, so we're just going to attach that right here on this edge piece, and this is where I found these needle nose works really well, because once you get this thing lined up, it's a lot easier to tighten the bolts underneath. So we're just going to do one real quick. Let's go on. So 1, 2, 3. Alright, there's one bracket done. Are you sleeping over there? Oh, sleepy puppy. Oh, big stretch. So now you're going to take this L bracket piece with this on it, and then you're going to stick this out. You're going to grab the machine screw with this slider, and all you're going to do is thread it from the inside out. And same process, you're going to take a washer and a nylon lock nut. Washer on first, nylon hand tight, and then once you get this on, they give you 6 straight poles, which are for these 3 holes. We're going to do those too. One of these. Okay. Same thing. recommend, especially when you're doing these pulls right here, don't use an impact, use a normal drill. And the reason why is you can control your levels of power on here with obviously the chuck and everything. And if you have these too tight, they won't freely move. But you still want them firm, so just make sure you don't crank them in there, especially with brass, because brass is really malleable. The difference with brass is is really water resistant and doesn't rust easily, but it does strip easy, so don't over crank these. So just a quick tip. So right here, this little mechanism is literally what sets Clam apart from most of its competitors. All it is a little plastic lever. No more having to stick your fingers in those little tiny metal holes. So all you do to install is pull this lever. You want to get up to that top hole. Sometimes you got to pull this back flange up just a little bit, because this is the security flange. And then all that thing is do is just click in there. So when you are ready to collapse down your tent, you just push that in. No more sticking your fingers in those little holes. So all I'm going to do with this pole, stick it right onto here. That's it right there. The slickest design. So I messed up. Some of these poles, these holes have to be facing the inside. And Taylor messed up a couple of them, so just remember that. Don't make what I made, mistake. You got to turn these things around, so all I'm going to do is unbolt them, redo it. That's why you don't crank them in either. Okay, so right here I have we're going to start assembling the chairs, and they're on 3-pivot style, so remember that the rivet goes up. When you turn, you should turn the ball bearing into a diamond shape. And then this C-channel right here, this metal C-channel, there's only 2 ways it goes on, both ways. So if you try to go the short way, it will not fit. So make sure you put it on right and don't crank it in there. So then you're just tightening these down, remember, not too tight. And they should be recessed in the screws. So when I pull this one out, so you're recessing it on these. See these little bevels? So then you just put that into the plate and it should sit flush. Just remember that, okay? So right here, I got my bracket all socketed up. Okay, so just make sure that this is equal distance with this and this and this, because last year I was a little tilted on one. It didn't work. So with that being said, you're gonna have to put one oval and one circle on both sides. So it's gonna look like that. Do not put all circles on the same side, and then you're gonna take the corkscrew right here. It's got a little more of a wood thread, and you're gonna drill that through. Just make sure you don't just spin it out, okay? And then you're going from outside in. So you're just gonna put it on the outside, and then once you hit the hole, take your drill. I'm just gonna go. That's it. No tighter, just snug, okay? And then you're. So I wanted to redo a chair again, because the last time I did one is last year. So I did redo one before I started doing this one. All complete on the slider and everything, ready to go. We're gonna go over this one. So you're gonna take this metal bracket right here, and you're gonna take your stainless steel poles with the rubber caps in them. Make sure you put the holes align. This is gonna go right here, and what I like to do now is I like to take the through bolt, completely machine scredded, start that through the bottom. And then sometimes I found that it's easier to get it in with the drill, just because it is a tight fit with that plastic. And sometimes the plastic doesn't go through, you know, it's not perfect. Okay, so now you can see I have it just barely sticking up. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take the bag, and I'm gonna take this bag, and then the coupling goes up. So this is up, this back side is down with the different change. So that is up. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stick that through the hole, like this. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna have to grab a bolt, and then I found this is probably one of the trickiest parts, is trying to just get this thing started. Because once you get it started, you're normally good to go. So I got it started now, and this is where I found that this needle nose works really good. So all I'm going to do is take that, clamp that down, take my drill, and just snug it up. And you're going to do this on the other side. So all it's going to look like. Okay, I guess I put the bag on the wrong way, but oh, maybe not. Yeah, I did. Okay, so I'm going to have to take that off. So now I'm installing it. I really don't know if the tethers are supposed to be up or if just the final side is supposed to be up. So I'm going to go tethers up because I think it looks nicer. Not really sure on that. Maybe it is the vinyl side. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take this bolt, and I like going through this hole right here and sticking it right on the nut, or on the screw, and then like trying to twist with my other fingers just to get it started. And you're going to drop it a lot because this is I find very difficult to get these started. If you have a better idea, I have tried just putting my vice grips in there and then starting it, but I don't like that idea with the brass because it is such a malleable metal. And, you know, if you guys think that the tethers are supposed to be down, you know, please comment something below. I don't know. So then once I got it finger started, then I'm just going to take my vice grips, clamp down on it, and then just barely snug it up, you know, don't crank it. Okay. Now we're just going to go grab the other pole. There. Grab a screw. Just pop that through. Okay. Same thing. And this is probably the hardest thing about getting these things done, is this part is building these chairs, because they are on like a 360 spin and you can go up and down and everywhere with them. But then, you know, you gotta think about it, your ice fishing experience. You're only gonna build this once or twice, or like me, every year basically. And but once you have that mobility, it's really nice. So once I get it, I kind of like to flip it upside down so that tether rope doesn't like push up, and then I just put my hand on the back of the screw back here, drop the bolt an extra 12 times. And all the hardware here, like, it goes together very easily. So don't be smashing it together, because it's not meant to be forced, right? Especially using brass. Don't force brass, it don't work. Okay. Now we got that. So once we get that back plate on, we're gonna work on the chair. Fold it, then put this back bracket on this. The only trick I've found with this thing is if you move the plate like a diagonal, it's easier to access the other bolts. And we're gonna grab, uh-oh, didn't feel good. We're gonna grab this one, the one that doesn't have any screw, and we're just gonna finger tight most of these until we get there, and then we're gonna crank them in a little bit harder, just with the ratchet. So once we get them finger tight, we're just gonna take your ratchet and you're just gonna tighten them up just a bit with a 3/8 side. So now we have our seat all ready. Now we're gonna slide this on. So this is the side that clips on. So this is just gonna go right through the two holes. And this is why you want this fairly straight, this back piece, is because if this isn't straight, this won't slide very well, especially if it's too tight. And you can leave a little give. So here's my bag. Okay, we're gonna grab this last piece right here. Goes on like this. We're gonna grab this. Stick these screws through the back. What I've also found with this is it's a lot, once you get these things all the way through, it's a lot easier to get that bag on. So I just like them sticking out, just a touch. And what I've been doing is just grabbing these bags and really stretching them. Just grabbing one, put it on, pulling really hard. That's it right there. Okay. And just same thing, hand tighten the brass nylon nuts. We're gonna crank those down in a second. Make sure we did it right. So right here you can see on the end, this is the security latch that just flips open like that. Hopefully, if I did it right, that latch is there, that latch is there, then you grab the little metal in the back. And it works. Look, seats. Okay, now we're getting to the easy parts. You're gonna take your Clam seat covers. I like doing the bottom one first. I think it's easier. So once you get your seats built, I think the bottom one's easier. So all you're gonna do is you're gonna unstrap it down here. And what you're gonna do is you're just gonna run this underneath the seat, and then you're just gonna shrink wrap, or pull these down right at the crease and then fold them back. So okay, same thing with the back of the seat. Just gonna put on the back cover. And you know what the nice thing is like, let's say you go with like a lower brand or like a cheaper ice house, which this is the cheapest 2-person one they have. You can actually buy seat coverings. Scratch that. This is not the cheapest one. The Nanook is the cheapest one. The Nanook sits a little bit closer to the ground. And that one does not have the cushions, but you can buy the cushions separately to see if you want them. I do want them because I think they're worth the little investment. So right about now, we're basically done. So what we're gonna have to do now is I'm gonna actually have to take this top one off, and I'm gonna put the cover over it. So that's gonna be a little bit hard to film. It's fairly simple. So now you're gonna have it set up like this. You're gonna use that pole goes in that hole, extend it, short, long, and you'll have one more pole because you're not gonna have these on. Put the canvas over the top. So we're hopefully gonna try to film this. It might be a little difficult for me, but you guys will get the gist. No idea. We're gonna go from the back. So now I'm gonna grab my impact right here. I got some clamps just to get that rubber gasketing started. And you're gonna grab these black oxide screws, right? Sometimes it's a little hard. I've also seen people use hot water. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it right at that corner and just tuck it in. Right when I get that start, that's kind of where I want to start. I might bring it up just a titch. All I'm gonna do right there, grab my clamp. Okay. I'll grab my impact. I'm just gonna drive it through this side. I'm gonna lift up on it. That's it. And you're just gonna keep going. I like to, the thing's not gonna stretch. So I'm gonna do right before this corner and then right after this corner right here. Let's see this. Do one right here. That just popped out for some. Okay, and I'm gonna go all the way around. And then if you have access on the end, just take some snips and just snip it off. So I just got done screwing in the last part of the gasketing. The gasketing's all the way around the bottom. I did use an impact. I used all the screws they gave me. You know, I'm trying to space them out every, 6-8 inches roughly. You know, some are closer than others. I like to really bolt down these corners with 3. One here, one in the middle, one there. And then over here, I mean, this is something Clam just does on the side, is like they gave you 1.5 feet almost, a full foot of extra gasketing, extra nuts and everything. So if you need replacement parts, you don't have to go and get them. They're right here, which I really appreciate. So this is my build video of my new Clam Yukon XL. Super excited to get on the ice. I think we're gonna go, him and I are gonna go up to Red Lake this weekend and see if we can get some walleye. So hopefully here we go.